computers, right? So here I have an IA tablet, and I was able to download my favorite games that we can go ahead and get some great slashing done into. But, that's not all, Tom. I'm going to go ahead and pause this. This is actually a tablet running Windows 8. How big do you pause this second for me? There we go. And I'm going to go ahead and put that guy. But actually, it's going to pop me out to the desktop here, which will go ahead and have a great experience on this tablet. But Windows 8 basically allows us to do all the desktop applications that we had, like Fruit Ninja before.
As well as the Metro web apps.
Ooh, pardon me. A little bit of an issue, but I'm going to bring it right back. Okay.
Well, what Craig will be showing is how easy it is to pop back and forth between desktop and Metro. And as I mentioned earlier, we have all the software applications we're used to working with. And the way to get access to that is desktop. And then, of course, with Metro UI itself, you have access to all of them.
I can go ahead and bounce between the two. So actually, I have the desktop here. Pardon me for that little interruption there. But as I can go ahead and I have this great Metro experience that I have on here. And as you can see, I even have an app up tile. I can go ahead and go into the store, find out all the greatest applications. It's also an excellent way for us to get our optimized IA applications onto a tablet like this. But then again, it's not always about fun, Tom. So I actually have this notebook tablet here, which actually gives me a pretty great experience on the consumer side. But we want to talk about all those other great applications, line of business.
What about small business?
Well, small business is actually a great example that I have here. Here I have this is Quicken 2012 that I'm running here. It's a standard for bouncing books on your small business, but think of all the other applications that we have in business, and I'm also marrying this application to basically some great web information that I can as well by being able to marry the desktop with a full Metro experience.
And that was what I was saying earlier. You see more and more retail stores on the floor with tablet. And they're using a lot of cool web apps. But there's also an SAP inventory management system, very common in retail. And if you're on the floor and you want to check that inventory, you can be sure you want to go to that desktop mode. You know that application. It runs on Windows, Intel-based products of the past, and they're running on Intel-based tablets. And you have that opportunity to pop back.
And that's exactly right. A completely open ecosystem, so you can get all that software that we've loved, as well as all the devices and peripheral components that you've had before. So you know all your printers are going to work. Hook up a mouse, your hard drive, your keyboards, and all that's going to work automatically.
All the millions of devices out there just work. But it's not just the hardware, right? It's the software as well. As Intel's always done, we work with app developers to make sure the best touch experience is going to be on IA devices. So it's the hardware we're enabling, but also that enabling we're doing the software to make sure the touch experience is best, whether it's on the tablet, the phone, or mobile.
Exactly. We want that to be best on Intel, and we're working hard to make that happen.
Thanks, sir.
Thanks a lot, Tom. Appreciate it.
So, we're in the post-PC era, right? That's the question I'm sure that everyone's asking. We talk about tablets, we talk about phones. Now, you wouldn't expect a top Intel executive to be on stage and agree with this, right? So, who would be a better audience that might have a little more credibility on this topic? What about the youth today? The next generation of users. What would they say? Are we in the post-PC era? They say no way. This was a study that was done by Cisco, a global study of college students all over the world. 2 out of 3 students said that the PC was the most important device in their life. They asked about a phone, a tablet, and PC. So this is the youth that's grown up with technology that we didn't actually grow up with. So whether it's a PC, a smartphone, a tablet, 2 out of 3 chose the PC. Why is it? Well, when you take a look at the different usages, some of it might be surprising, most of it isn't. But study after study, the PC is preferred when it comes to the combination of content creation and content consumption. So this is a survey, by the way, the global survey of all mobile users, mobile phone users in particular, so that they looked across these devices and they had experience working with tablets, with phones, and with PCs. But that doesn't make us feel like we can stand still. We must keep innovating. And that's why 1 year ago, when Sean was on stage, we talked about the Ultrabook, ushering in a new era of computing. We can't stand still. We understand what users are expecting today, consumers and business. We announced Ultrabook embracing ultra responsiveness, ultra thin, ultra secure. This was this new era we were ushering in. And really, it was unleashing a wave of innovation. Behind me are about 50 Ultrabooks, representing the second major wave. So we're a year later, and we have 110 plus designs on the third generation core. And you're seeing an example of 50 behind me. The point here, you can see the headlines, but every major ODM, every major OEM, and every major retailer across the world is embracing Ultrabook. For all the reasons we're going to talk about, we've talked about before, but we'll talk about again. There is tremendous momentum and excitement around Ultrabook. And this really is a once-in-a-decade point. We refer to the fact that when the transition happened from desktop to mobile century now, that created an incredible wave of innovation and acceleration of usages, and really liberalized the user to be unwired and get out and experience a new type of computing. We'll talk about not just what Ultrabooks enable today, but what they will in the future. So what did enable this? Well, once again, we can talk about the innovation, but I think it's easier to see it because it's brought to life through your imagination and your innovation. So Art, can you give us a little idea, a view of what's inside these Ultrabooks?
Sure. Why don't we actually use the performance of another Ultrabook to look at the innovations of what's actually went into making the Ultrabook. So we could do something with augmented reality, something like this. Actually take apart the CPU and look at each of the components.
What a better way to show off an Ultrabook than augmented reality. So let me walk through a little bit about the innovative work we've done over the last year. Display thickness is reduced 40% while also becoming more power efficient. Batteries evolved from cylindrical to prismatic, reducing height 65% while improving battery life. Keyboard thickness reduced 30%. The reduced CPU power allows for thinner thermal solutions. To deliver ultra-responsive experiences, hard disk drives transition to solid-state drives or mechanical hard drives with SSD cache. And finally, machined aluminum, die-cast metal, and composite plastics provide a much stronger chassis for ultra-thin Ultrabooks. So, a tremendous amount of work from all of them. So from Intel, Shishay, thank you. Please give yourself a big round of applause. But we're just getting started. We really are on the verge of this new era. We are just getting started. And what we're announcing today is the third generation dual-core launch. This will be known as the Ivy Bridge platform, but third generation dual-core is officially launching today. And what this slide shows is a comparison of the prior generation, second generation core, Sandy Bridge, to third generation core. And you can see, as you'd expect, this is a, by the way, in the Intel vernacular, tick-tock. This is a tick. It's an improvement in process technology, although in the context, we would probably call it a hop. The performance is 22% better, 15% lower power, 2x better media and 3D graphics. And sometimes we don't talk about this as much as we probably should, but compared to a 3-year-old laptop that you might own and have at home, the graphics performance is 19 times better than the third generation. So we're continuing to raise the bar, including integrated security. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. So this third generation core platform will unleash more Ultrabook innovation as well. Let's start with how we can raise the bar, what we're doing to raise the bar for consumers on Ultrabook. And let's start with responsiveness. Last year, you may remember, we talked about Rapid Start for fast resume. Well, this year we have Smart Connect that allows you to update content even while the notebook or the Ultrabook is asleep. So that means when your lid is shut, there's a wireless access point, your email can be updating when your lid is shut. It's much more convenient, user-friendly, makes you more productive. We also have capabilities on responsiveness offered by Thunderbolt or USB 3 to quickly get the content on or off your Ultrabook so you're not late. Ultra thin, more stylish. Well, last year you delivered a number of ultra thin designs. This year, with even lower CPU power, as I showed you, and advances in material, they're going to allow more innovative devices. You're going to see, designs. You're going to see some of it. And then finally, there's the greater peace of mind and security. This is increasingly becoming more and more important, whether we realize it or not as consumers. Businesses get it. I think consumers probably don't quite get it yet. Last year we talked about anti-theft and identity protection. Anti-theft protects your data if your Ultrabook is stolen. Identity protection helps you securely shop and bank online. Both very important. Nobody wants to lose the asset. Your Ultrabook, nobody wants to lose their data. So anti-theft, identity protection, we're taking them to a much higher degree of focus in this next generation of Ultrabooks. These are going to be enabled really what we'll call out of the box. We're now having support in 22 countries with 11 languages. So we've really raised the bar on what I'll call security or that peace of mind with this generation of Ultrabook. But as we talked about earlier, Ultrabook is not just for the consumer. What we're doing is we're raising the bar with Ultrabook by bringing vPro, which is what IT has been demanding and deploying for the last 5 or 6 years in the enterprise. IT wants to lower the cost of managing their PCs and get better security. That's what vPro does. So now vPro is offered on Ultrabooks, and this is important because consumerization of IT is happening. We're all consumers. We love the stylish, cool designs. We want to bring them in the enterprise. So now you've got conflicting priorities between a CEO that wants to support his employee base, but also understands that the CIO wants to support security and safety in the enterprise. vPro bridges that with consumer appeal and IT approval. So now everyone wins. But you know what? That's not good enough either. Because you know what? We can raise the bar even higher. We're raising the bar on more natural interaction. We're making progress with the Nuance partnership, which we announced at CES in January. You're going to see it live here in a bit. But when it comes to more natural interaction, we all know touch is just around the corner with Ultrabooks, because Windows 8 will be launching and enabling touch. We've all used touch, many of us on phones and tablets, and it's going to offer an exciting degree of innovation. Many of you have seen it. We're going to showcase some of the great designs we're seeing on touch, but again, I can talk about it. It's probably much better to hear about it. So I'd like to introduce one of our most innovative, fastest growing customers, based right here in Taipei. Please welcome Jim Wong, the president of ASIC. Jim, it's great to see you, and I can't wait to see what you're going to show us and what Acer's doing in innovating around touch.
I think touch is natural and that's a very intuitive way for you, for human beings. We all grow up learning to touch and to speak before typing and writing, right? So touch is so important. And touch, that's in the last few years also evolved so fast. So the smoothness is so important for that. I'm carrying with me that the Acer's the 11.6 and the Full HD that's the tablet with me. So I'm just to show you that this is so responsive and this is very